Hi, Dave here from Marketer Media, and welcome back to What Am I Working On Today? Today's backdrop is the wind farm at Bear Creek in Wilkes-Barre, PA. The hiking and camping are great too. So this morning I was a guest on a podcast called The Marketing Cheat Code. It's a business podcast, and I talk about the state of digital marketing. Go figure. They're going to provide me a sample clip early next week, and then the actual podcast is supposed to be distributed the following week. I think it went pretty well, except for one little detail, which, if you watch this video all the way through, I'm pretty certain you'll be able to figure out what that is. Guesses are welcome in the comments. So, while this is all very fresh in my mind right now, I thought it'd be helpful to provide advice on what to do before you're a guest on a podcast. Now, I will readily admit this is going to sound very basic, but these 5 reminders may be helpful for people like me that are moving too fast and will provide a better outcome. So, tip number 1. Before you're a guest on a podcast, you have to research that podcast and the host. Make sure they align with your company brand and your personal brand. Make sure that being associated with them is going to provide a positive outcome. Remember, you don't have to accept every podcast that you're offered. Protect your brand first. Alrighty, so let's assume that the brands align. Tip number 2, discuss usage. Find out where this podcast is being distributed, how it's being used, how it's being promoted. Are you going to get the files? Can you edit the files? Nail down your rights and the usage up front before you agree to doing a podcast. Okay, so assuming all of that is favorable, tip number 3, ask for the questions up front. Okay, clearly I'm very entertaining, but I do business podcasts, and one of my primary goals is to make sure I provide value back to the audience. I often think that if I had just a little more time, I could have provided more thoughtful, more helpful answers. So I will err on the side of being prepared versus perceived spontaneity or producing content that just isn't as good as it could have been. Tip number 4. Now, before you run out the door in your Iron Maiden t-shirt, don't assume it's audio only. A lot of podcasts now also record video, and if they don't record the entire segment, they're shooting side video or side photography for promotion. So ask that up front so that you can be dressed how you want to be seen. Related to that, if you're doing the podcast remotely, like I did this morning, make sure that you have a suitable background, whether it's a physical location or a virtual one. I did a video about a year ago on the do's and don'ts of video backgrounds that may be helpful for you here. You can find that in the ARC YouTube channel. Lastly, tip number 5, probably the best tip I'm going to give you today. Before you record a podcast, before you hear the words, "This is a live recording, we don't edit, it is what it is," make sure that they can pronounce your name correctly. My last name is 4 letters, 1 syllable, and sounds like that bright thing in the sky. Do not assume that they're going to pronounce your name correctly. Alrighty, if you're also a guest on podcasts or a host of podcasts and you have other helpful tips, please provide them in the comments below for everyone who sat through this video. I'm Dave from ARC, and I hope this helps.